Joey Logano hit a parked car on pit road Sunday. That's how his playoff spot ended at Texas. A three-time Cup champion ran into Cole Custer's stopped Ford, wrecked the front end of the number 22, and got loaded onto a hauler with 1 point to show for the weekend. Coming in, he was 15th in standings. Top 16 makes the playoffs under the new format, so he had a small cushion. 95 laps in, that cushion was gone. What gets me is what happened right before the wreck. Logano had just dodged a William Byron spin by what looked like inches. Watching it live, you figured he'd used up his luck for the day and that was going to be his "wow, that was close" moment. He pits under the resulting caution, takes 2 tires, gets out of the box, hits the gas heading toward pit exit, and runs straight into Custer, who'd been blocked into a stop because somebody pulled out in front of his pit stall. Oval Insider summed it up bluntly: front left destroyed, day over, top 16 points position gone. From close call to junk car in maybe 15 minutes. That's racing sometimes. Doesn't make it any less frustrating to watch if you're a Penske fan. So here's where the standings end up. 1 point on the day, 37th place. No top 10 in either stage, so nothing extra to soften it. Austin Cindric moved past him. Chase Briscoe moved past him. Logano drops from 15th down to 17th, which is 1 spot below the cutoff line. NASCAR.com had him at 7 points behind the provisional cutoff for the Chase's 1-6 driver postseason field after Texas wrapped up. 7 isn't a huge number on paper, but it's a number he now has to chase instead of protect, which changes everything about how the number 22 team approaches the next stretch of races. And this is where the new format makes things genuinely uncomfortable for him. The 2026 season went back to the original Chase setup that ran from 2004 through 2013. Top 16 inches points after 26 regular season races. That's the entire qualification path. Winning a race doesn't lock you in anymore. There's no backdoor for a hot driver who finds a win late. You get there on points or you don't get there at all. Logano of all people should be okay with that on paper. He won the 2024 title from 15th in regular season points, so he's literally the guy who proves you don't need to dominate the regular season to win it all. The catch is, he made the playoffs that year. Once you're in, the Logano postseason magic kicks in. The new format means he has to actually qualify first, and right now he's on the wrong side of that line. Now, to be fair, he wasn't the only top guy who left Texas wondering what happened. 3 drivers who came into the weekend in the top 10 of points ended up in the garage early. Christopher Bell finished 38th with a single point. Kyle Larson, the reigning Cup champion, lost it on his own coming out of Turn 2, hit the wall, finished 34th, and was 8-0, something laps down at the checkered. 3 points for him. Ty Gibbs got into the wall too and ended up 36th with 8. So 3 top 10 drivers basically put up 4-point average days while Logano was scoring his single. Misery loves company in NASCAR points racing because every guy who has a bad day with you is a guy who isn't pulling away from you. Bell, Larson, and Gibbs are all still well above the cut line, by the way. They have room. Logano doesn't. The other thing worth talking about is just how the wreck happened, because pit road incidents are a whole different category of frustrating. On-track wrecks, you can usually point to something. Got loose, got hit, tire went down, somebody made a move that didn't work. There's a story. Pit road, you're going slow, you're being deliberate, and a car stopping in front of you isn't really a racing incident in the traditional sense. It's an awkward chain of timing more than anything else. Custer slowed because he had to. The guy in front of Custer pulled out late. Logano was already moving toward the exit. The whole thing happened in a couple seconds. That's the part that's going to bother the number 22 team for a while. Not the result so much as the way the result happened. Up next is Watkins Glen on Sunday, May 10. The Go Bowling at the Glen, 100 laps, 245 miles, 11 turns over a 2, 4, 5-mile road course. Road courses are tricky for a guy in Logano's situation because they invite specialists into the conversation. Shane Van Gisbergen, AJ Allmendinger, the guys who really shine when the track turns left and right. They can finish in the top 5 and pick up a chunk of points off everyone else, including Logano, who isn't really a road course standout in the way he is on ovals. He doesn't need to win Watkins Glen. A clean top 10 with some stage points would do plenty to start cutting into that 7-point gap. The hard part is that Cindric and Briscoe, the two guys directly ahead of him, also have every reason to put together solid finishes. Cindric especially, since he and Logano work in the same Penske shop. There's no help coming from in front. He's going to have to outscore them, not wait for them to slip. Looking even higher up the standings, Tyler Reddick is in a different time zone. Denny Hamlin is second and just lost the Texas race late after Chase Elliott held him off on a restart for Elliott's second win of the year. Reddick, Hamlin, Elliott, those guys are gone in terms of catching them. The points compression Logano needs has to happen at the cut line, between roughly 14th and 18th in standings, where one bad weekend from a Briscoe or a Cindric or a Suarez could swing things back his way. He just needs to be there to take advantage when it does. 15 regular season races left to figure it out. That's a fair runway, but it's not unlimited, and the longer he sits on the wrong side of 16th, the more weekends he has to be perfect on instead of just steady. There's also the small mental side of it that doesn't show up in points reports. The number 22 already had a bad day at Darlington earlier this year that dropped them into a tie for the final playoff spot at one point. They climbed back. Then Texas happened. 2 of those weekends in one regular season is a lot of margin to give back, especially when both of them came in ways that felt avoidable. Darlington was raw pace, one of the worst overall runs Penske has had with Logano in years. Texas was a pit road bang. Different reasons, same result on the standings page. If anybody on the grid has the resume to climb back from this, it's probably him. 3 Cup championships, the 2015 Daytona 500, 37 career wins, a guy who literally won at Texas Motor Speedway last May. He's been doing this at a top level for over a decade, and he's still only 35. The talent isn't gone. The team isn't broken. The equipment is the same equipment that won a title 18 months ago. He's just running out of weekends to use that talent and that team and that equipment to get himself back inside that top 16 line. And on Sunday at Watkins Glen, he'll start trying to climb a hole he didn't really earn so much as inherit, courtesy of one stopped car on pit road at Texas,